Hello everyone. I'm just keeping this up right for now because this is the video you've all been waiting for, the top 10 all-time anti-chess list. The reason I'm keeping this list up is just so I can remember my shoutouts because without all these people, this list wouldn't have been possible, and I just wanted to make sure these people are known because they're all incredible players and they've all been around long enough to know plenty about the game and um, about who's changed it a ton and who have been the strongest players throughout. So shoutouts to Pepsi and Gaming, Firebat Prime, Finslov, Tolius, Kotov Syndrome, Arimakot, who is a FIDE master in standard chess, Link, Flow or Change Opening, and Autumn Wind. So I just wanted to thank them all for providing me with this. Um, Anyways, welcome to the video. Of course, you guys have all been waiting for this a very long time, and I've put the list together using algorithms and list and tier lists and rankings from all these people. And although I don't personally agree with everything on this list, I think this list is a very good sum up of some of the greatest players of all time in anti-chess. We'll be counting down from number 10 to number 1, just showing a game that I think is really impressive, or them that they themselves thought was really impressive. But anyways, before we get started, I'm going for the honorable mentions. We have two honorable mentions here. I don't have games for them, but I just wanted to give them a shout out. Um, just because obviously they're also very strong players and could have been on this list. So the two honorable mentions are Finslov and Grohache, also known as Artyom Andreev. Finslov from Croatia and Artyom from, I'm pretty sure, Russia. But anyways, let's get into it. So number 10 all time, we have none other than Change Opening or Flow, Florentin Olteanu from Romania. And he is an incredible player. In my opinion, maybe certainly one of the best, if not the best player of this time right now. And he knows so many openings so well. And from opening to end game, he is certainly one of the greatest players of all time. So the game that I'll be showing here is actually a game that he suggested that I would show. I didn't tell him that he was being included in this list, but I just asked what he thought his most impressive game of all time was. He was playing this against Variant Spot, which is a bot, as you can tell by the name, incredibly strong, and he was playing this 2+0 game, which is fairly fast time control, and Flo found this before Stockfish, which I just think is really really neat. Mind you, this is Stockfish at standard depth, and at the time, maybe it's different now. But Flo started off by playing knight to a5, and after capturing, he gave up this king right here on g4, and then in my mind, the amazing move, knight to f2. And in my mind, sorry, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Um, in my mind, I just think this is crazy because he played this so quickly, he doesn't have very much time left, and he basically just opens up his rook down here. But after the knight captures and the rook captures, there's nothing black can do. In this game, Variant Spot plays knight to h1 after rook here, just extends it even more by playing bishop b7, getting the rook away from here. But Flo just plays rook to h2, and after giving away the bishop, it's basically game over. A4, rook f2, and after a3, rook f5 and e takes f5, it is checkmate. Flo beats Variant Spot. Um, and so it's totally deserving of a spot on this top 10 list, Florentin Olteanu from Romania. Number 9, we have a very well-known player for a while now, certainly in the conversation. I would also like to add that every single person on this top 10 list was mentioned as top 3 on somebody's list. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that all these players are just that incredible, and this list was that tough to make. But on this list we have number 9 is Dragon Lord from Norway, and Dragon Lord, uh, as or so I'm told, it was such an incredible player at the time, and could beat so many people that could not. that weren't beaten by anyone else. In this particular game, I really like this because it's an O+2 game, so extremely fast, versus one of the honorable mentions. Dragon Lord has barely any time left and immediately plays the only winning move, I'm pretty sure, of bishop promotion, and this is just I just find this so cool. Because obviously, if the rook moves, then you'll have to take it. Sorry, if the if the rook moves, then you just play bishop here to f6, and then the rook or the knight will have to recapture. And otherwise, like played in the game, knight b4, bishop takes f6, and the knight is on the same color as the bishop, so there's nothing the knight can do no matter where it moves. White will be victorious. So I just thought that was oh shoot, knight f4 was not played in this game. A knight to b4 was played in this game. But anyways, either way, incredible player from Norway. Number 9 on this list is Dragon Lord. Number 8, we have a member or an anti-chess player from Iran. This is Never Gonna Berserk. And Never Gonna Berserk, or Soam Toad, it was an incredible positional player, and just knew how to maneuver the pieces so well. I've had the chance to play against Never Gonna Berserk a couple times, and what an incredible player they are. In this case, playing white against someone higher on this list, actually. And if you can see the only winning move, I'm pretty sure, it is King d3. Because after rook takes, then this is the star move, is bishop to b2. The rook has to capture here, and after the bishop captures, the rook has to capture here, and now it's sort of stuck down here. In this game, Never Gonna Berserk plays a3, and it's basically over. So definitely an incredible player. I'm going to be saying that a lot, but everyone on this list is totally deserving. And sadly we can't put everyone at number 1. But anyways, number 8 from Iran is Never Gonna Berserk. Um, so these next two, number 6 and 7, are both players from a very long time ago. Like early 2000s, maybe a little bit into it, like maybe as late as like 2007, 2008. But I feel like because a lot of the people making the list um, uh, have also played in this era, it's very hard to compare people from different eras, as a lot of people like to bring up, like the Michael Jordan LeBron James debate, and I'm not even going to get into it. Um, but it's just really hard to compare players from different eras. So in my opinion, 6-7 could possibly be 1-2. We just like it's just so hard to compare. Um, because back then, of course, they didn't have engines. However, they mainly only played really long time controls, like 20 plus 20 or something like that. So although some of the end games and some of the moves they make are absolutely incredible, it's difficult to wonder that if the players at this time could have done that without engines and with that much time. If they played back then. But anyway, so just a heads up, number 6 and number 7 could certainly be 1 and 2. At least in my opinion. In my opinion, they should be a lot higher, but it's the way it goes. And of course, I haven't been around as long a lot of the people making these lists, so of course I'm not one to talk too much on that situation. But anyways, number 7 from Switzerland is Nabla, or Fabrice Liardet, and who actually has one of the strongest defenses as black, e3 b6, named after him, the Liardet defense. Um, it might be Liard Day, I don't really know. But in this position, I just find this was played in the 2001 World Championships, and I just find this move incredible. The winning move and the strongest move by far, Bishop f4, because after takes, black is pretty much in zugzwang. In this case, b5, but then another move of the strongest move, King f2, and this pawn can't move, and any rook move is losing. And I just go back here. I think even if I'm playing a fast time control, Bishop f4 is definitely pretty tough to see. Of course, this is played in long time control, but either way, it's an incredible move to see. Number 2 at the 2001 World Championships, and played on Fix for a while, free internet chess server, which used to host Antichess, and one of the strongest players there. But on this list, number 7 is Fabrice Liardet. Just amazing, nice positional playing. Number 6, I like to think is one of, if not the best player of all time, and I just think this because, in particular, a couple of games, of course, back in 2001, and so on. They didn't really have that strong of engines, if engines at all. And this player, I just look back at some of their games, and even when they didn't have engines to study openings and stuff, this player still managed to play some of the strongest moves in mid games and in openings and in end games. Um, Still happened to play some of the strongest moves would ever happen. Would when Without having that sort of knowledge. And this is Tim Remmel or Newdrum from the Netherlands, the 2001 Antichess world champion. I just like showing this game. I don't know the moves off by heart, but in this game managed to pull off a King Knight Rook versus King endgame, which is winning for White, but it's incredibly difficult to see. And he managed to do it from probably 30 moves before this. But basically just bringing the knight to the center of the board, and keeping all the pieces together. Makes one sort of slip up here and has to bring the rook back, but then realizes to bring the knight in. And now just slowly moving the pieces from starting in like this sort of corner, and bringing them all towards the center of the board, forcing the king out, and eventually, uh, after repeating those moves, we have king c4, and now it's pretty much over because the king can't move here because of the knight, or here because of the knight, or here because of the king. And so, in my opinion, Newdrum, just incredible player from of the time. It's certainly possible that it could be said as the greatest anti-chess player on all time, but on this list he comes up as number 6 on our list. Number 5 is a very, very popular player. This player, I've never really gotten to play this player when they are playing the strongest openings, um, and stuff like that, because the game just ended up getting um, fairly. This player just ended up knowing so many openings so strong that they eventually created an account called F4 Opening, in which they only played F4 as white, and F6 as black every single opening, just to make it more difficult on themselves, which I just think is, and they still managed to be one of the top players in the world playing those openings, which are both fairly like, if you studied them deeply enough, you could certainly solve them as a human. And this is none other than Towns Paycheck from Iran. And this game, I just wanted to show it because it's a fairly long mate that was found almost instantly, basically pre-moved it out when I looked at the move times. After rook f1, knight takes f2, rook takes f2, and then after queen takes, rook takes, king takes, and rook takes, all pre-moves from here, but bishop a4, rook takes, b5, allowing the knight to be captured, rook b8, and it's pretty much over now. But anyways, an incredible player. Really didn't really need to use, as we found out later, didn't need to play amazing openings because he was such a strong end game and positional player, that as soon as, if you didn't take advantage of it out of the opening, you're probably pretty done by the mid game and the end game. So incredible player, Towns Paycheck from Iran at number 5 on our all-time list. Number 4, it just actually won the Anti-Chess World Championship 2020. This is none other than Caleb Nezel, Pepsi and Gaming. I won't state country in this video. You can visit my study that will release after, due to I don't know. But anyways, um, an incredible player. Everyone I talk to just says that this player is, certainly, in all aspects of the game, incredibly strong, especially in spotting tactics and in positional play. You'll notice that a lot of these players are incredible positional players. But in particular, there's this one thing the other day I was talking to this player, um, about a certain position, and and we were like, wow, this player saw this incredible move. Um, this player saw this incredible move, and he was like, no, it's not that incredible. And we're like, what? Like, it seems so dubious and so crazy. And this player managed to, in like 2 sentences, managed to completely explain why that move is the only move. And I just sort of went, and me being a maybe 2200 plus strength player, so pretty strong player, I was just like, wow, like, I can't believe you just saw that all that quickly. And and so this player just can spot things so quickly and so effectively and efficiently. In particular, this game, I really, really like this game. This game was played against someone higher up on this list. So in the top 3, this is number 4. Um, Playing black is Pepsi Gaming, and this is a 1+0 game, so zero increment, and every move here was made in under 10 seconds, which I just think is crazy. Anyways, white starts off by playing King F2. Um, D6 opening up for this bishop right here. And again, I just want to emphasize how crazy it is that all of these moves are made in under 10 seconds. Anyways, we have knight to G2, and then we have E4, King F3, and after the pawn takes, pushes E4. After the pawn takes again, E5, D takes, and then here we have H5. Obviously, have to give the king away. And then after rook h7 takes, Pepsi Gaming does slip up here, plays queen f6, which is actually a draw if bishop is promoted to, but obviously with like 4 seconds left, you're not going to see that, and your opponent probably isn't going to see it too. They're going to assume that bishop draws, and in this case they did, in 1+0, and so here we have queen to g7, and then after the rook promotion here, takes rook to, I think it was g6. Yeah, it was g6, and then bishop f5, winning this game, which I just find crazy, all in 10 seconds from this position. Again, possibly the greatest player on all time, and this list comes up at number 4 is Caleb Nezal from, I should not say. We'll say USA/Germany. Number 3 on this list is often referred to as the greatest player. A lot of people like to call him the greatest player of all time. Just an amazing player. This is Emirhan Ogul, or Ogul1, from Turkey. And this player, in particular, when I talk to a lot of people, is mentioned as the greatest the greatest out of prep player of all time. So this player, and I've gotten to experience this a couple times because I've never really played this player when they are intense and studying at their full strength, but only when they're just coming back to play Antichess for a little bit of fun sometimes. And they, like, if they come back for one day, then I might beat them by a little bit, but as soon as they're back for like more than 3 days, I really have no chance. Like, out of prep, this player just understands the game so fluently, and it's really impressive. And this is my personal favorite game of his, which I actually made another video on, if you want to check that out. Because this is a candidates match, so this is one of the matches leading up to the World Championship in 2019. And oh shoot, I didn't mean to promote Queen. And and in this position, or in this game, just decides to promote to 4 knights just for like fun. I don't even know why. I don't know the move, so I'll just show you what happens. Just maneuvering all the pieces together. Black has really nothing that can be done here, and eventually starts giving up the knights, creates this entire line all in a row. And after all these captures and maneuvering the knights back towards the king, this game is pretty much over. And as you see, the game ends in a win. So again, probably one of the greatest positional and out of prep players of all time, even though still one of the greatest in prep players of all time. But it's just so impressive watching this player play. If you ever get the chance, I highly recommend it. It's really amazing. Which brings us to number 2 on our list. And number 2 on our list is, I would say, probably and a lot of people on this list would say, the greatest in preparation player, and possibly the greatest anti-chess player of all time. Number 2 on our list is a 2-time anti-chess world champion, Vladica Andrejic. Sorry if I butchered your name. From Serbia, also known as FIDE Master Uri Makot. And this player, especially in longer time controls, is just can see moves so effectively and efficiently. And as you can tell from the title, 2-time anti-chess world champion is nothing to frown about. That is really incredible. Until I really started studying anti-chess, I hadn't beat this player up until about like 6 months ago, which is showing that this player is really outstanding, and it takes a lot to beat them. In particular, they know so many lines. They also have, I will show you, have released their own book, The Ultimate Guide to Antichess. Here's your promotion, Arimacot. Anyways, with proofs, and this player has also done proofs, simplifying proofs for anti-chess for certain openings. But anyways, enough of all of that. Obviously, this player is one of the greatest of all time. But let's see them in action. This is the Anti-Chess World Championship 2018 final game, and you can see this game on Looking Five Words YouTube channel. And I highly recommend watching those games because they will really help you understand top openings and top mid-game and end-game play. But anyways, it looked like a draw here, which most people believe, which I think meant that Ogle would have been the world champion. But Arimacot plays Rook A1, going for the win. After King F3 pushes the pawn, and the losing move here was King E2. But it's not exactly easy to see. People thought he would, after giving up the rook, play bishop. Sorry, a draw. I think meant they go on or something. But most people thought it was winning for white. But after this, most people thought, oh my gosh, bishop promotion, they're going to be safe, they're going to go on to extras. But Arimacat surprised pretty much everyone. I wasn't around at this time, but just looking at the reactions of the chats, and in the video, seeing everyone's reaction when he played rook promotion. And I just think that's such a stylish way to win the world championships. Obviously, if the king moves closer, and the rook takes, it's still not close enough to sacrifice the other king. And same thing over here. This king will be trapped. And a rook and king endgame is a win for a player with a rook. So what a stylish way to win the anti-chess. I think this is what was played, and then king to king to d4. Just what a stylish way to win. Obviously, one of the greatest players of all time in anti-chess comes in at number 2 on our list. And number 1 on our list is pretty much everyone here named this player as a top tier player. Pretty much everyone here put them top 3 on a list. And this player was one of the top players for probably up to like 6 or 7 years, which is really amazing. Highest rated player of all time on Lichess. Most people have seen the highest rated game of all time. It is none other than Jodl or Derek O'Connor from the USA. And looking at this player's games, in particular, some of the players of the time. Were some of the top players of the time. I'll just give an example. Towns Paycheck and Dragon Lord would be incredibly close in games and have a fairly close matchup against each other. And Jodl, compared to both of them, was extremely positive, meaning he won a ton more games than he lost, and often referred to as one of the greatest players of all time. And on this list is number 1. So according to this list, the number 1 player of all time, Jodl or Derek O'Connor. This game wasn't too crazy. This game was played against Dragon Lord, which were the 2 top rated players of the time. And it's not an incredibly tough thing to see, but I just thought I'd show it because this is the game that put Jodl at the all-time highest rating on Lichess, in which anti-chess is basically only played now. There is some giveaway chess on chess.com. However, Lichess hosts it in a much more developed way. Anyways, in this game, goes for f4, and then after e3, f takes e3, gives up the king on d2, and then the rook on c1. We had king promotion. After bishop c4, king takes here, and bishop to b3, which, as you can see now, is winning. And this put Jodl at the all-time highest rating on Lichess. And so yeah, that was the list. If you wanna, I have a study of this on Lichess. I will put in the description. Those are the top 10 players of all time. As when we go down the list, from Change Opening, Dragon Lord, Never Gonna Berserk, Nabla, Nudrum, Towns Paycheck, Pepsi and Gaming, Ogle One, Arimacot, and Jodl. I think obviously there are going to be some things that some people don't agree on, and obviously some things that I don't agree on. But I think overall, pretty much, it's a very solid list, and I think it's extremely accurate. And I'm very proud of the list here. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What you would have changed, what your thoughts on the list were. But regardless, these are 10 absolutely incredible players. Also, Finslov and Grohotchet Grom as our honorable mentions. I just wanted to say again that these players were absolutely incredible, and they have changed the game so much and made it into a game that we all love and enjoy. So thank you, all 10 of you, for that. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Please stay tuned for more videos in the future. Um, and yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Hope you enjoyed the top 10 list.